Daily Broadside, day 829. I feel like with the inordinate amount of Indian street food videos that I've consumed in my recent past, I could fill in for one of those dudes, like right now, today. Like, you call me up, I'm in New Delhi or Mumbai or something. I don't know any other Indian cities. And I get a call and they're like, Tajid is sick. We need to fill in. I'm there. I'll show up at the booth. You just procure all the food and I'll be there. Because really, it's all the same crap, right? You dice up like 32 different vegetables, much of which you don't even know what they are, because who knows 32 vegetables? Try to name all the vegetables you know. You'll stop out at about 18, you know what I mean? Like, nobody knows 32 vegetables unless you're a produce chef or something. Well, I don't know what a produce chef is. A produce department manager or something like that. But even then, they probably don't even sell 32 in the United States grocery stores. At any rate, you dice up everything just infinitely small with some silly little fillet knife. You stick it into a tin cup, crack a couple raw eggs into it, shake it at like crazy speed, violently, like overly violently. And while you're doing all this, you're looking at somebody else. You're not paying attention to anything you're doing. You're not using the knife, thing. You're just cutting. You're waiting to chip off your finger, but somehow you don't. And then you take that, you put it into some kind of flattened out wok and let it turn into an omelet, because everything they make turns into an omelet. Then you take some bread that sometimes looks not bad, slice it with that same silly fillet knife, put the pieces in the egg batter to kind of make a French toast kind of consistency, and then you pull it out once it's made into an omelet form. You put it in there, and then you put it into some kind of third world version of a panini press with tons of butter and oil, and then you sprinkle a bunch of crap on it to make it like garnished with whatever, and then you put it on some newspaper and give it to them, and it costs like 11 cents. They've got to be stealing the produce. I guess I don't understand how cheap stuff is in other countries, because or at least that part of the world, because I don't know how you make, you get these guys eating, you're like, oh, that was only like the equivalent of like 43 cents. And you're like, it's like a whole meal. It's disgusting. And at no point was any kind of sanitation or anything, taken into consideration when they made any of this slop. But nevertheless, everything can be made right now. And then I will just knock it out of the park. You know what I mean? And that's what you get from watching Indian street food videos. The second thing I'd like to say is that girls with freckles, first of all, I've said many times that redheads are the most beautiful of all species. Redheaded women, naturally redheaded women, if aliens invade our planet and we're, tempted to be taken over and whatnot, the redheaded women should rise up and be our leaders, because that's how it should have been all along. But what do redheaded women come with? Two great things: pale skin, freckles, because there's just nothing more beautiful, right? All women are beautiful, but redheads just go to a different level that, as small as their numbers are, it's odd that more people don't recognize it. But what I'm saying is this: quit covering up your freckles. I've got some freckles. They're not as prominent as I don't think they used to be. But I was a freckly kid, not like, like a redheaded freckle where they're just everywhere and all that. But that's my point. Don't cover that stuff up. It's beautiful. Okay. There's no need to cover up any kind of, frecklage on your body. And if guys don't like it, that ain't the right guy. I'm telling you now, redheaded dudes, y'all ain't leading nothing. Okay. Y'all are at the bottom of the caste system, if you know what I'm saying. And talking about covering up stuff, we have got to stop supporting people that make bad decisions and making it like about like a, you go girl, you do you, no, you don't do you. You're doing something horrible. I watched a video, as in a dumb example. I watched a video yesterday of a girl who's got some kind of apartment she's renting out, and there's carpet in there. And she's like, watch me put vinyl floor down. And I'm like, okay. And so she starts, and the carpet isn't ripped out. And I'm like, okay, you have my attention. And she proceeds to go get OSB, some cheap plywood for, and I call OSB plywood. I guess technically it is. It's all plied together, but it's, $20 sheets of 4x8. She cuts them up with, it was rough. She had to go get like a Walmart circular saw. It was some ugly work. She puts it down on top of the carpet, and then with gray duct tape, puts the seal, seals it down with gray duct tape in between the seams. She then gets a 60-cent per square foot roll of vinyl flooring for like $80 and proceeds to glue that down to what is now a floating floor. We're just completely discounting the fact that mold and mildew and water is going to be trapped in that carpet when inevitably something spills or there's any kind of problem in the plumbing system, right? Like, and not to mention the sponginess of it. Like, you're ruining the carpet, so why not just rip it up? Because guess what's under the carpet? Wait for it. There's a subfloor, and it's stronger and better, typically speaking, than that OSB that you went and bought. You could have just pulled the carpet up, put the flooring down. If you ever need to replace it, it's really not that expensive. You put carpet in one room. But I mean, in all the comments, people were like, half the people were like, "You're an idiot. This is a horrible idea. You're going to find out very soon when you have mold abatement." And then the other part is like, "You go, girl. Like, yeah, that was awesome. I'm going to do this." And I'm like, don't take advice from somebody who has to buy a circular saw. If you have to go buy a circular saw from Walmart and the brand is not even, known to anybody except Walmart, that's a problem. And that's a good key that you don't need to be doing any projects, and damn sure don't need to be, doing things that other people are like, "Oh, that's a great idea." It reminds me of a guy. I went in his house, and he had moved from one place to another, and I helped him move. And I walk in, and he had put LVP, luxury vinyl plank, down in his new home. And I said, "Man, why is it so spongy in here when you walk on this new flooring? What'd they do?" He's like, "Oh, I just told them to leave the carpet padding." And I'm like, "What?" And I didn't say that, but in my mind, I'm like, "What?" Because LVP needs to be put down on something solid, some substrate that's solid. If it's on concrete, you gotta have a vapor barrier, but if you can put that stuff down on anything, and it works fairly well for what it is, thicker the mill, the better. Just a little key to note. But here's the thing. Everywhere you walk, like, we're rolling stuff across the floor, and I'm like, why wouldn't you pulled the carpet up? That's the hard part. The pad ain't nothing. Just rip it. But he's got, like, so whatever a carpet pad is, 1/2 inch, whatever it is. It's just like all back in the couch, like everything it was very comfortable walking around. It was like you were at one of those trampoline zones or jump zones or tramp zones or whatever the hell they're called. That's what it was like walking on, or like you ever been in a gymnastics gym? I competed in a martial arts tournament one time. We did it at a gymnastics facility, and they had one of those ball pits where you run down this thing, get on that springboard, and not a ball pit, but a foam pit. And this was before all the tramp zones existed. And man, we spent more time doing that than we did fighting. But at any rate, where was I going with this? So don't be doing stuff that you think is, hey, that's a good idea. Maybe take to the internet and see if that's a good idea and confirm it for me, because it's just not, it's not really going to end well for you. And the last thing I'll say is that Good Vibrations by the Beach Boys has 14 key changes. I don't think you understand, unless you know music, how beautiful that and brilliant that is. Brian Wilson is on another level of, like, whatever spectrum he's on that allows his mind to do what it does and did before he went crazy. That's insane. Like, insane. Brilliant. Have a good day.